Hi and welcome to the Running Channel. I'm Anna and today I'm joined by sports broadcaster Vassos Alexander. Thanks so much for welcoming us into your home, first of all, Vassos.
You're very welcome.
And you can see we've got lots of books in front of us. So we're going to be chatting all things to do with running literature today. So we're going to go through some of Vassos's favourite books, and then we've got top 7 picks of our favourites as well to get you started with some ideas for what you might like to read about running. So if you're new around here, we do upload new videos every week all about running, so make sure you hit subscribe and tap the notification bell as well so that you get notified when we've got new videos on the Running Channel. So Vassos, thanks so much for chatting to us about books. You have written 2 books yourself about running.
I have. Yeah, you can't stop me, really. I really love it. I really love running, and I kind of want to tell loads of people about it. You've got this. We've met a few times before, and so yeah, I wrote a sort of celebration of just getting into running and what running can do to a life. And I'm lucky in my job. I know lots of amazing people, Crammy and Paula and the Brownlee brothers and various other sorts of, Uber runners. And they all told me, not Andy actually, I met him later, but they all told me how they got into running and what running means to them. Yeah. Along with actually a guy who I literally ran into. Like we clashed heads on Hammersmith Bridge. And we sort of knocked each other silly for a bit, but we sat down and we were having a chat, and I just recorded it on my iPhone. I asked his permission first.
Yes.
He told me how running kept him out of prison, essentially. Wow. So every chapter in that first book ended with an interview with somebody who I very much look up to as a runner. Yeah. And it was just a sort of hymn to running.
Yeah, that was Don't Stop Me Now, was it?
That was called Don't Stop Me Now.
That was the first running book I ever read.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad I didn't put you off.
No.
And then they asked me to write another one, and I said, look, okay, fine, but it's going to be about this sport that I really love called ultra running.
Yes.
And I thought they'd say no, because too few people like it. And this was a few years ago when it wasn't even as popular as it is now.
Yeah.
And they said yes. So I sort of boxed myself in the corner then. Because the thing is, when you say you'll write a book about running, what you need to do actually then is write the book. Yeah. Which does take time,
Of course. Time that you could be out running. Time that you could be out running.
Basically, writing a book is feeling a bit guilty. You're either feeling guilty that you're not writing it because the deadline is there and it's getting ever closer, or you're feeling guilty that you're not either running or spending time with your family or your kids. So it's basically a few months of guilt.
Yeah.
Say kind of six guilty months.
Wow.
But at the end of them, you get one of these things, and then it's sort of all worthwhile.
Exactly. And so you've written 2 already, and there could be more?
I don't know why I do this to myself, but yes, there could be a third. There will probably be a third. I haven't started. I mean, I'm not even a single word, but probably the title I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, we look forward to that.
Yeah, next year probably.
Great. So we've got lots of books here straight from your bookshelf of some of your favourites to read. So do you want to grab one and talk to us about why it is?
Let's start with this middle pile, shall we?
Yeah, let's.
Okay. So this
top
is
of.
Top. Yeah. This is Christopher McDOUGALL. This is called Born to Run. I'm sure you've read it. Yes. It's like the holy script of running. Yeah. And definitely of endurance running.
Yes.
Barefoot running, the fact that we look like we do, not like Neanderthal man who was very much stronger and quicker than we were, and so why are we kind of these weedy things? Why do we look like we do? Surely it would be easier to hunt down and kill prey if we were stronger and faster. Well, not so much, because we're good sweaters.
Yes.
We sweat like the best of them. In fact, actually the best of them.
Yeah.
So it's all in here, plus a great tale, and he's a brilliant writer, Christopher McDOUGALL. So this is top of the pile.
Yeah.
Now this one here.
I love this. Jogging.
Yeah. Chris gave this to me, Chris Evans, only last week. And this is lovely. This is a lovely gift. It's a first edition, 60 something? Right. 1967 book.
Right, okay.
About jogging. A medically approved program that will reduce the waistline, improve your appearance, help prolong your life. Jogging, a physical fitness program for all ages, prepared by a heart specialist and a famous coach.
Brilliant.
And I love this. It's free, it's easy, it's relaxing. It can be done alone or in groups. It's fun.
It is fun.
It's good for the heart. I mean, it's all right.
Yeah,
but I love the fact that in 1967 they found this new thing.
Called
and
jogging.
They called it jogging.
Yeah. Wow.
And they've all these little, it's the principle of the thing, training principle. So they've got, stretch. It's all here. It's
What
all
a
here in
fantastic
1967.
book. Yeah.
And they've got a little training program, and they've got pictures.
All done in yards. Look
Yeah,
at that.
absolutely.
Jog 110 yards, walk 110 yards 4 times.
Yes.
Brilliant.
It's really good. Anyway, so this is lovely.
Yes.
This is just a great joy.
Yeah.
Now, okay, here's a slight admission.
Okay.
Because I can't lie. I haven't read this.
Okay, so this is Run or Die.
Kilian Jornet's Run or Die. It's very famous, and loads of people who I really admire say it's excellent. And I don't know why I haven't read it. In fact, it's top of the list. If not, that's top of the list.
Because you've been too busy writing, running, and everything else.
And this is Scott Jurek.
Yes.
And I haven't read all of this either. Not that these two people are two of my favourite human beings.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They are not just the most staggeringly talented endurance athletes on the planet. Scott, possibly his best days are behind him.
Yeah.
He would say that. And he's got a wonderful new book out about the Appalachian Trail. How do you say it?
Yeah,
anyway,
yes,
it was
yes,
that.
yes, yeah.
And I've read that one.
On that as well, yeah.
Yes, that he helped Karl Meltzer break his own record for that trail.
Yes.
So this book, at the end of it, he goes, and that pesky speed goat Karl is going to probably break my record, but I'll help him, because that's the sort of guy he is, and that's the sort of people you meet on the trail. So these are just two of my favourite people, and I can't believe I haven't I've met them loads.
Yeah.
So I've met Kilian a few times.
Oh, amazing.
And I've spoken to Scott on the phone. He was kind enough to be interviewed. Both of them actually were for the second book.
Yeah.
So they're awesome human beings.
Yes.
Their achievements are awesome. Kilian just popped into the Lake District last year
For the Bob Graham round.
and smashed the
Amazing.
Bob Graham round record, and did so. And they don't tend to, I want to do a Bob Graham one day, but I want to do it kind of properly. I want to spend time in traffic jams on the M6, getting to the Lake District, and just sleeping in my car. Yeah, I do.
There's a great service station on the M6 just before you get to the Lake District, actually.
Yeah, well,
you want to experience it.
I just feel you have to do it properly. You can't just turn up and get sort of shown around and then it be a test of fitness.
Yeah.
So Kilian did it exactly that way.
He did.
But he charmed everyone so comprehensively along the way that no one minds at all. And that's the sort of guy he is. So these two books are in there, even though I actually haven't read them yet.
Yes,
Sorry, Kilian. Sorry, Scott.
To read.
I have read this.
Okay.
Lizzy Hawker, a short story about a long run.
Yeah.
This is her first UTMB, which she won.
Oh, wow.
Whilst camping nearby. And she's awesome. She's very, very clever. The UTMB is a 102-3 mile race around Mont Blanc, encompassing, you start and end in Chamonix, and it encompasses Italy and Switzerland and back to France. And it's a great race. It's near the top of my to-do list, and this book is, I can't recommend it high enough. It's really well written, and it's a really good story, and it trips along beautifully.
I'm going to put that on my list.
Never met Lizzy, actually,
No?
but I'd like to, having read her book.
Yeah. And then this pile then, we've got your hardbacks here.
Is what I don't do very well is keep the covers of hardback books. I don't.
They get snagged anyway, don't they?
I recycle them immediately. Yeah. So this is Ed Caesar's 2 hours. Will anyone ever run the marathon in under 2 hours? And obviously that is a live debate now.
What do you think?
Well, it's not really what I think. It's what Ed thinks, because he's properly researched it. We've got Eliot Kipchoge, who came 25 seconds away from it last year. He's trying again, isn't he, in London in October. It's going to be a bit tough for that, because he's only got the window of 1 day. Yeah. Whatever the weather's like, he's got to do it on that day.
Yeah.
So I think it will be done. I mean, it's exactly a second a mile he has to find. Which at that level is a lot.
It's a lot.
It is an awful lot. If anyone can do it, he can do it. He's like the Jedi master of running.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see him in London this year?
I did.
He had these two Ethiopians with him, and he's not used to people being with him at 40k, but his expression never changed.
No.
His cadence
This
never
big
changed.
smile.
Yeah, and then he just dropped them one, and then the other one, and then he came in with the most extraordinary time. Only he's run faster.
Yes.
Brilliant.
At Berlin last year.
Yeah, exactly. So, so this is a very good. It's a good book.
Yeah.
It's a good book.
So that's sort of looking into whether the 2 hours could be broken.
Exactly, and he wrote it. When did he write it? Like a few years ago, probably pre-Kipchoge or at the start of it. So read it quick before it gets done. What's this one? Oh, Chrissie Wellington. She's like one of my favourite people. She's great. This is her story. She's written another one, a triathlon training guide.
Oh, great.
I can't remember what that's called, but that's also excellent if you're into triathlon training. That's, learn from the best.
I'm talking about doing one next year, so
yes,
I will read that.
But this is her story.
Right, and how she sort of got into
From
it all.
somebody that everyone used to call Muppet to, somebody who was undefeated in the long distance triathlon. And she's just, she's another ace human being, Chrissie, and it comes across in spades on every page.
Yeah.
So I very much recommend this, and this won't age. Like, you have to read Ed's quickly.
Yes.
This one anytime. And in fact, she met. Is this signed to Emily? Is this one signed to Emily? She met. She and I were doing a talk in Keswick a few years ago together, and we were talking over breakfast. And Emily, my daughter, who was 11 at the time and not rowing yet, met us on the breakfast table. And Chrissie was talking to her and sort of inspired her a little bit to get a bit more active, gave her a book. An 11-year-old girl enjoyed this book as much as her, whatever I would have been at the time, 35-year-old dad did. So, this one's great.
Yeah, that's my kind of running book. A lot of the ones that I've read have been about people's stories and how they've got into it. I love that kind of thing. Take it away on holiday and really just kind of get into somebody else's story.
It's all about stories.
Get inspired.
It's all about stories.
Yes.
It's all about stories.
And as runners, we love talking about our running, right? So we also love reading about other people's running. So that's my kind of...
Exactly, this isn't so much stories, but he does quite a good job, this guy, Alex Hutchinson. He's a Canadian journalist. It's called Endure, Mind, Body and the Curiously Elastic Limits of Human Performance.
Oh, okay.
So, for instance, they believe that the human body can survive at 29,000 feet and no higher. Like, we would not be able to survive. Kilian ran up and down Everest twice in a week with no oxygen. But they would say, scientists would say, boffins in white coats would say, but he wouldn't have been able to do that if it was 30,000 feet because the human body can only adapt to 29. But honestly, if Everest was 30,000 feet, I'm sure we would. The thing about, there's a famous story, he mentions it in here, of the guy who lifts a massive truck off a cyclist.
Oh yes, because you have to save them, right? In extreme conditions,
our body only allows our mind only allows our body to go so far. And it's stories like this cyclist and others like it. He says, honestly, in an Olympic marathon, you've got two runners going towards the finishing line, and one just beats the other one. So you would, under those circumstances, give everything to finish first to get the gold medal. So why does the winner win, and why does the second place runner, why is she or he still alive?
Because they've not given everything.
They haven't given everything. So the mind has stopped them, Anyway, it's very interesting, and it's sort of, he's clever, like he's a scientist, I think, and he's a journalist, so he writes a good story, and it's all weaved together in a very kind of interesting way. So I like this one.
Yes, that sounds great, and like that endurance and really sort of pushing yourself to more, again, is, so much to do with
I read it hoping that, I'm going to get to the end, and there's going to be, and I'm not going to tell anyone about the book, because there's going to be a secret about how my 250 whatever marathon PB can become 230 whatever. But annoyingly, it isn't the case. It's just, look what the brain's capable of. And it's good to know.
Yes.
It's good to know. And it's well written.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And he's a very engaging interviewee. I've interviewed him a couple of times.
Super.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for going through those books. That's been great, and hopefully some inspiration there if you want to pick up some books and have a read about running as well. We've now got our 7 top picks of our favourite running books as well, so we're going to run through those and give you a bit more inspiration. If recounting races bores you, but you like to think about what running really means to you, this is your book. Author Murakami took up running to get him away from the desk and ended up running a solo route from Athens to Marathon. It's a wide-ranging memoir, training diary and collection of musings about long-distance running. His Feet in the Clouds books, a classic of fell running, but his brilliant biography of Czech runner Emil Zatopek is even better. The Czech runner is the only man to have won Olympic golds for 5k, 10k and the marathon in the same games, and was once famously described as running like a man wrestling an octopus on a conveyor belt, a true inspirational legend. Since Ed Caesar wrote this just a few years ago, the world records come down again, and the prospect of a man breaking 2 hours for the marathon has got that little bit more realistic, a fascinating insight into what it takes to run the best times in history. A running book for people who don't think of themselves as real runners, even though they are, of course. Heminsley is very much an every woman, and this light-hearted book chronicles her own journey, complete with setbacks galore, to running marathons. No, it's not about running across plains with majestic horned beasts. The buffalo in question are the University of Colorado cross-country team. If that sounds too obscure, think again. It's an incredibly absorbing and well-written account that ought to be a lot more famous than it is. Sports presenter Vassos Alexander got addicted to ultra running and has tried some of the most hardcore races out there, including the 153-mile Spartathlon, one for all those for whom 26.2 miles just isn't enough. The cult classic that spawned the barefoot running trend. McDOUGALL recounts the story of the Tarahumara, the indigenous people of Mexico, who are the best distant runners in the world, running hundreds of miles wearing, naturally, only sandals. The book's McDOUGALL's attempt to learn their secrets. So hopefully there's loads of inspiration there for you to pick up some books all about running. Great time to do it over the summer as well. Hopefully you're going to go and sit on a nice sun lounger somewhere and do some reading. If you've got any of your favourite books that you want to let us know about, leave it in the comments below. We'd love to know your suggestions too, and we'll see you next time on the Running Channel.